everybody. Welcome back to Cubism. I'm Aaron.
I'm Drew.
It's been a while. Been really busy. Holidays.
I haven't been busy.
All the regular excuses. I'm always busy. Drew not busy. Yeah, that's life. You know, it was Christmas. There was Boxing Day. There was Grand Prix Vancouver. I moved. That was exciting. It wasn't exciting. It was awful.
New Year?
New Year. I moved on New Year's Day. January 1st. But now it's great. On my own. Rent's literally infinite, but I don't have to rent anymore. And that's the price you pay to make yourself happy. So
I can walk around without pants?
I can walk around without pants. So anyway, Ravnica Allegiance. 2 weeks away, at least when as of recording this. When I edit and put this out, is mystery as always. So, I guess we're, I don't even know, halfway. I don't even know how far away through the previews we are.
About 1/3.
We just got
sets been spoiled approximately.
We just got Mystic Snake. The Mystic Snake nobody wanted. But you know what? I guess pauper players probably wanted. It's a good common uncommon card, which is something that we don't appreciate nearly as much as we should on the show. But the cycle of the 4-color uncommons are all pretty good. I would imagine tremendously for a common uncommon. Except for the black-white one, it just isn't a Seed Rhino, but you just want it to be the Seed Rhino instead of they discard a card, and it's bad.
It's a little underwhelming, plain, one might say.
Yeah. Drew likes it. Drew likes playing cards. So, with Ravnica coming out, we got 5 new mechanics, just like we do for every guild set. So, we have the first mechanic is Spectacle. What's the mechanic similar to this?
Bloodthirst?
Raid, Bloodthirst is probably the most accurate. So much better than Bloodthirst. It's you get to cast a card for its alternate casting cost if they lost life that turn. So it doesn't have to be damage. It can only give you damage.
Fetch lands, pain land.
You name it. But a very Rakdos guild, very Rakdos feeling mechanic. Fits right well into the Rakdos guild. Bloodthirst was Gruul originally.
I think it was in M13 or something randomly.
Yeah, it was a pretty generic-y mechanic, but anyway. After that we got Afterlife, which is probably the best fitting Orzhov mechanic you can think of. So whenever so far I guess it's only on creatures, but whenever this creature dies, you get to create X/1/1 white/black flying spirit tokens, where X is the number after Afterlife.
It might only be creature tokens. We're getting spirits from instants.
What if there's an enchantment that has Afterlife?
No one destroys enchantments.
Then we have Adapt. One time we'll get a Simic mechanic that isn't just terrible.
No, they all have to be +1.
This one is the best version of it, I guess, because it's just.
I like Graft. Well,
it's not going to cube. the problem is these +1/+1 counter mechanics don't have a lot of cube application. This one, thankfully, is just a pseudo glorified monstrosity, but instead of Theros, when things became monstrous, you got a benefit right away. A lot of these cards just get counters and then interact with other Simic cards well. There are very few that become monstrous, or become adapted, and then get a benefit right away. There's not very many yet. I know we haven't seen a lot of cards yet, but I wonder how many there is now that Prime Speaker Zagana isn't the Prime Speaker anymore. She's just not in charge. Now it's the Jellyfish Lady.
Also, decent stat monster, I believe. But
yeah, it's a 4-mana 4/4 that adapts into a 8/8 or something for 6 mana.
I think so.
It's fine. It's cool. I like the art. Big fan. Anyway. Then we get Riot, which is the most boring mechanic you can probably think of, but
Strictly
it's great.
better adapt.
Some might say it's better adapt. You get to, whenever the creature comes into play, you get the option of getting
adapting.
haste or get a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
And that's whenever it comes into play. So if you were to reset it for some odd reason, you can take advantage of that. And then we got Addendum, which is a mechanic I forgot about when making this list. It's very weird. It's you get to cast your instance as a sorcery for a benefit.
Or an instant on your main phase.
Yeah, we were talking that if a counterspell had Addendum, it could have a huge benefit if you cast it on your turn, because its restriction is only that you cast it during your main phase, not that it's cast like you would a sorcery, if that makes sense. Anyway, Addendum is a really weird mechanic. I like that Azorius in the Ravnica storyline is this.
They're always the bad guys, right?
Well, they're the
police
lawmakers, they're the police, but they're these aggressive. It's an aggressive guild, like the Tane and stuff like that. Even though they had Supreme Verdict and Sphinx's Revelation, just ignore those ones. But they're this aggressive guild, which is kind of weird. They attack and block a lot, even with Dovenbon in charge, who makes a bunch of guys that attack and block really well. So I like that Azorius isn't just a bunch of Teferis. Even though Teferi's great. Other than that, we have split cards back. What a surprise. They were also back last set.
Kind of to be expected at all times.
So with Ravnica Allegiance, we got, I guess for the first half, I think they split the bad guilds. And by bad guilds, I mean guilds that need more cube cards. Pretty evenly. So was it Boros and Izzet were in the first half. And then Simic, Gruul. I'm forgetting one. Aren't I? No. Simic, Gruul, is that it? Simic, Gruul,
generally,
the ones.
Yeah.
Even Rakdos. Rakdos is fine, but could use like a bone or two. You have like display a lot of Terminates, and we're about to talk about how to Terminate in a second here. But Gruul could use a little more adapt. I'm trying to make an adapt
diversity.
Joke. I was trying to make an adapt joke.
No.
But I don't think
adapt is the joke.
Case. Okay. All right. Well, so all we want are good Simic cards. You know what? I'm okay having bad Gruul cards because I think people like Gruul cards, even though I don't like them very much, and I don't think you like them very much. We're not very different, you and I. Yeah. But I really want I want a home run Simic card. We haven't got one yet, but there's still hopefully 2/3 of a set left. So anyway, that'll start us off with almost not this card yet. Almost forgot again. Thanks to the Mana Base, our sponsor, who I'm unfortunately very neglectful at remembering. The Mana Base, your home base for all things Magic the Gathering. They let us release this content whenever we feel like it seems, and they don't really write us about it that much, which is awesome. So, check out the Mana Base, your home base for all things Magic the Gathering. We just signed MTG Jeff, a new YouTuber. I like his stuff quite a bit. Check him out. He's, I think, the only person other than Nikachu making video content for us right now. So, yeah, I'm sure check him out. Anyway, Bedevil. Black, red, instant. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker with art. Fantastic art by Semic Hidden.
Yeah, on the art.
I like it. You know what? I think that's the tangent off right before we even get into the card. Semic Hidden's kind of becoming this new, Therese Nielsen in the world of, Magic art, I think. People love his artwork, which is fine. I love his artwork, too. But similar to Therese Nielsen, or maybe not Therese, more Rebecca Guay, but the really revered artists. His art is starting to it doesn't really fit in the set very well. So I think the art for Bedevil is good, but it doesn't fit the rest of the art theme of Ravnica. And a handful, he has the blue-green instant Explore. That card too, again, beautiful artwork.
Is that the promo art?
I think they have the same art. Okay. Again, beautiful artwork. Doesn't fit the theme very much, and I'm a big flavor guy. Regardless, Bedevil. How many Terminates is too many Terminates?
I think this Terminate is one too many Terminates, but I run Cut to Ribbons right now, and Terminate, and Kolaghan's Command.
Kolaghan's Command is the best Terminate, even though it's not even close to a Terminate.
It's true. And I like the diversity in my other two picks, and this is just more of all of them.
Falcon Wrath, Aristocrat, Ready?
Yeah.
Iconoclast. Yeah, I currently run... I was running Cut Ribbons... I wasn't running Cut Ribbons. Take that back. Oh, no, I was running Cut Ribbons. Because I like Cut. I like the Cut half. Anyway... Right now, I'm running Dreadbore Terminate, which is something I hate doing because they're almost identical cards. I'm not a fan of Dreadbore, but sometimes these stupid red-black decks need ways to deal with Planeswalkers, obviously. So I do like Bedevil more. I know it's not really as much as an aggro card, so it kind of contradicts what I was trying to say here. But
so you're gonna move Dreadbore up?
Move Dreadbore up?
Say upgrade Dreadbore to Bedevil.
Oh, yeah, I really don't like Dreadbore, so I'll be trying out Bedevil. I think it's a pretty easy switch here and there. You can just switch one of your Terminate effects for another Terminate effect. This one's hard to cast, with the upside of destroying an artifact, though. Whee! I think the first card spoiled. Maybe? No, it was all the F&M cards spoiled.
The Simic one was the gross.
Yeah.
Ramp Explorer thing was the first thing, I think.
Alright, well that brings us to Endrazor Forerunners.
Craterhoof.
Yep, 5 green, 7/7 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control, get +1/+1, that's not true at all, +2/+2, Vigilance, and Trample until end of turn.
I was probably just going to glaze over it, even if you only said +1/+1.
So very Decimator of Provinces, they keep making these big boars. They bring the party. This one is natural orderable. Unfortunately, Decimator wasn't. So this one is much better. It's no Craterhoof Behemoth, but why not more? You know?
I don't know. Like in the decks that where you kind of don't want to run Crater Hoof, where you're getting a natural order out and maybe have like 2, maybe 3 guys out. This thing's probably better than Crater Hoof in those decks.
Yeah, I'm not trying to I guess vouch for this card as better than not better than Crater Hoof, but so everyone runs this like big green package of like traditionally Trastodon, Woodfall Primus, Hornet Queen, Crater Hoof Behemoth, Primetime, you know,
Carnage Tyrant, I guess.
A Tarka. And Trastodon has been underperforming, at least recently with us.
Well, it feels like about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I realized like Trastodon's not picked very much. It's not run in many decks, even when it is picked, and then people don't resolve it or are happy with resolving it. And there's nothing to replace it with.
Yeah, so this card is a fine replacement. Like I said, it can get natural ordered, unlike Decimator. And I think it's like I don't have a problem with. I don't think Trastodon's a bad card. It's like our playgroup doesn't like it. I think in a power environment, the card gets significantly better.
And you got more things kicking around, like your tapped basalt monoliths and stuff.
Yeah, like there's like Academy. There's like so many more things that you know that you can like blow up moxes. You can blow up other problem permanents. So, Endrazer, while not Crater Hoof Behemoth, is probably going to be my second Crater Hoof Behemoth. So I like they're making these big green boar guys.
Big on it's the new dragon for green, the new Hydra,
The new was it Sphinx for blue?
Yeah,
all blue guys are Sphinxes now. That brings us to Gutter Bones. Probably has the best name in all of the set. I love that all the Rakdos cards have these really unnecessary over-the-top cards like the Rakdos Showstopper and what's it? There's the Diva of Rakdos and Gutter Bones. So I like Gutter Bones a lot. I know people initially on Twitter and stuff said that they I guess the initial cut was Dreadwander, which I don't like. I don't know, even though I love the name, I love Gutterbone's name. He's 1 black for a 2/1 skeleton warrior, not a zombie. Enters the battlefield tapped. Pay 1 and a black. Return it from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if your opponent lost life this turn. So returning to your hand doesn't feel good, but it's pretty much the same cost. Dreadwander. Dreadwander comes back for 3. This costs 3. Your opponent has to lose a life, or you have to be hellbent. So they're actually very similar cards, except Gutterbones has the interaction that like I could survival it, I could Fauna Shaman it, I could do it, I could discard it to Wild Mongrel if we're living in 2005. There are a lot of things that this Bloodsoul Champion, Bloodghast, there's a lot of these effects that because it happens to go back to your hand, which initially it was a deterrent to maybe there's some sort of synergy to it. Maybe I'm over exaggerating it. Maybe I'm like thinking a little too pie in the sky. But I think I still played. Was it Dreadscape Zombie? Not Dreadscape Zombie.
There's like 4.
What is the 1 mana 2/2 comes into play tapped? Diregraph Ghoul. I think I played Diregraph Ghoul. I'm just gonna cut Diregraph Ghoul for Gutterbones.
Well, I guess my controversial opinion on this is, since everyone always laments, why isn't this a zombie? Why don't we play more zombie? Why isn't there more playable? Maybe we just cut Gravecrawler instead.
There's probably a time, there's definitely going to be a time when there's enough of these cards you can just cut Gravecrawler. But the random synergies it has, for the time being, are fine. And I assume zombie's such like a generic creature type will keep riding the line. You know what I mean? So maybe it's not. I don't think so. I still like kind of run this pseudo-y zombie package. Not really. But I'm not cutting Gravecrawler. I'm cutting Diregraph Ghoul. Diregraph Ghoul is super boring. But was a zombie. For Gutterbones. Big Gutterbones fan. Oh, hey, this is the one. Judith, the Scourge Diva. Great names. Fantastic design. Big fan. 1 black red. 2/2 human shaman, not a zombie 2. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith, the Scourge Diva, deals 1 damage to any target.
I can't help but keep bringing up Judge Judy memes. I expect a lot of alters along that line in the future.
I want this card to be a 3/2 so bad. The fact that it's a 2/2, I think people. It's like what card do we?
Olivia?
Blood Artist.
Blood Artist?
People play Blood Artist. I hate Blood Artist. I hate that card a lot. I have a hard enough time with I don't play it at the moment either, but the 2 mana 1/1 version of it from Battle of Zendikar that isn't as good but has power. I can't remember it. Anyway, so there's been a bunch of these like red black utility creatures for aggro. Like there was the Murder King, big Murder King fan. Might be a better name than Gutterbones.
Timerat?
Timerat the Murder King. There's been like the 3-mana Olivia. There's been a couple versions of like these again utility Rakdos cards. The 3-mana 2/2, the Grey Ogre is bad. It's not good. It anthems your team. That's probably fine. It's like maybe like it's a good curve topper. You get to swing in your 2 or 3 guys into it. Maybe deal an extra 2 or 3 damage. You can send the damage anywhere, so you can take down bigger blockers. Send it to the face. Obviously, Rakdos face. Oh, the 2/2 body is like so discouraging.
I think I've been burnt enough by these types of cards in recent memory that I'm not going to try this one. And just skip out entirely.
I'm probably going to try it because, again, the Rakdos cards are generally like Falkenrath Aristocrat as like a premium Rakdos creature. And
at least for us.
Sorry. And Rakdos Cackler. Rakdos Cackler is actually the best Rakdos card, but both Drew and I slot it into red. So that's why we don't bring it up. But that's actually the best Rakdos card. Outside of that, like Rakdos creatures specifically, it's like Falkenrath Aristocrat and then a bunch of like Terminate, Dreadbore, Bedevil, Kolaghan's Command, Duretti, Rakdos' Return, Cut Ribbons, a bunch of like Bizarro removal spells, and like the creatures aren't very good.
I guess you can lump in Murderous Redcap if you want.
Yeah, like oh god. So Judith, while I'm not super excited about the body, its effect is like fine. The anthem part, maybe I'm underrating the anthem part. You like if you can like Jimmy Jam it in some sort of Martyr Tokens deck, it seems better. You get to make a bunch of shitty guys that are way more expendable, or some Gutterbones that are also expendable. So yeah, again, not impressed by the body. I think this is a card you have to play with a little just to get a feel for it. I'm probably going to try it on release.
Well, I guess how often do your red-black aggro decks just end up cutting the black cards and just play a slightly worse version of mono red because it's more consistent?
Yeah. Again, I guess maybe you can also fit this in some sort of stacks thing. Again, the red doesn't really bring a lot of the party to the stacks strategy, but maybe we're underrating this. I don't know. Goblin Bombardment is also like a pretty popular card, so there's a little bit of value in this card. It's definitely if you like support this kind of strategy, it seems great. Again, fairly shallow Rakdos creature pool. So again, great name, great design, big fan. I'm not a fan of this art, but Light Up the Stage is a cool name. So Light Up the Stage, 2 and a red sorcery. Exile top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Spectacle, 1 red. So this card was bad until it's your next turn. Then it's fine.
I guess this is a card that red just needs more of, kind of like Faithless Looting. It is cards that kind of outside the red's box of aggro and burn spells. And I will try and include as many of these as they are printed.
The red gets a lot of these like Bizarro draw spells, like what's it? There's
it's like discard a card, draw 2.
Yeah, a Tormenting Voice, Faithless Looting, very good. Wild Guess. There's one that's like discard your hand, draw 2. There's a bunch of these variants. Light Up the Stage is an interesting card. It's, I guess, depending on the point of the game, it's obviously very, very good on curve. It's like not a terrible top deck because if you can set up the following 2 turns. Again, this card feels like you have to play it a little bit just to kind of get a feel for it. But it's a cool card. Again, like Drew said, it's outside of the box of what red tries to do, or at least it's in the box of their Bizarro draw effects. So who knows?
It's a playable one in their Bizarro draw effects.
Yeah, maybe. Not a lot of them see play, other than like Tormenting Voice and Faithless Looting. I don't know if there's been any of them. Oh, I think the discard your hand, draw 2 ones all over the play. Anyway,
it's attached to Bedlam Reveler. You got that?
That one's good. That one draw 3. That one's even better. This is maybe the weirdest card in the set. It's a weird mechanic. I think there was a card in Unstable that gave your spells trample.
There is the card that is Lightning Strike or something with trample.
Yeah. But
4 damage,
not Lightning Strike. That's like it's a Laser Beam, or it's a Death Beam, or something or other. Pestilence Spirit, 2 and a black, not a zombie. It's a spirit. 3/2 Menace, Death Touch. Instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch.
I guess I've been evaluating this card without the instants and sorceries fanciful keyword clause, because I think just Menace, Death Touch, 3/2 for 3.
Easy to cast.
Easy to cast. It's probably going to trade up. I don't know how many tokens. It's going to depend on how many token strategies you have in your cube. But And then if you happen to connect the dots where you have a fire or a split arc trail, arc lightning,
Yeah.
you can go to Value Town.
Be the
But
plague wind people.
I think just without that, it's probably fine because black 3s are that bad.
Yeah, black creatures we've been preaching for years, though they're getting a lot of help as of late, thankfully. Could use a little love. 3 mana, 3/2 Menace Death Touch is nothing super fancy. It's easy to cast. Menace is surprisingly harder to block than you think. In like all like Glint Sleeve Siphoner. But that card does.
Yeah, and you like Carry Zev? Like, that thing lives forever.
Yeah. So just
that's a 1/3.
Just at face value, 3 mana, 3/2 Menace Death Touch. I don't know if I'd necessarily play the card. It's fine. I'd probably consider it. However, the fact that this is kind of a Rakdos card, makes all your burn spells terminates. More terminates. Even if it doesn't happen very often, this is like a good incentive to like want to splash those cards. If you do have them, you can like live that dream. If you do play the fire ice effects, those kind of effects, all of a sudden those cards become really sweet stories. Even with like if you're really behind, you can play it and slam an earthquake. Again, very funny. So the front half of this card is interesting enough that I'd almost consider it, but just the extra line of text it has that's like so unique to itself is I think it easily pushes it in the world of playable. I think this card is a glorified Rakdos card, and this is like a big story maker, I think. Card's sweet. Big fan. Not a zombie. So next up is Prime Speaker Vanifar?
Sure. Google Translate that one.
2 blue-green, 2/4, Elf Ooze Wizard. Legendary, what a surprise. Tap. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield, shuffle your library, activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. It's a birthing pod. Has cool art. I really like the design of the new Simic leader. I'm very curious why she took over.
You're big on the magic stories?
Yeah, she's like this like jellyfish lady. That's sweet. Big fan. So this wasn't quite the Simic card I was looking for, but it's a Simic card I'll take for now. Asterix. Unless you got a better one. This card doesn't. I don't think at face value. It's a format of 2/4 activates a sorcery. I wonder. Would it have to be like a 1/1 or a 1/2 to activate an instant? It'd have to be tiny.
Hella fragile.
Have to be super fragile. Anyway. So this card, I don't think this card up front is actually just good. I don't think this card's very good, but it's fun.
That's the thing. I don't think it's very good, but it's fun and it pulls you once you want to play Simic. And
no Simic cards make you want to play Simic.
Most gold cards actually don't want to make you. They're just like, hey, this Terminate. I'm gonna first pick Terminate. I'm like, no.
Scarab God makes you want to play blue black.
Yes, okay. There are a couple.
Scarab God's pretty good.
And while this card not great, is a draw, and I think that is worth something.
I think so too. Again, it's an interesting card. You make the point that again, Simic cards are very boring. There's no particular card that I'm ever super happy to play. Simic is really weird. It's they don't even have. It's a lot of like blue cards. And maybe this is weird, but there's like blue cards that want to splash green for Mystic Snake, or there's green decks that want to splash blue for an Edric, and I don't think that. I don't even know.
I've kind of fell into the camp where Simic just is a ramp deck. And I think cards that go in that direction, like Elder Deep Fiend,
Elder Deep Fiend is a good Simic card. But yeah, it's just there's other than Edric going into splashing into green decks, the rest of the Simic cast don't see a lot of play. Mystic Snake's been very unpopular for a long time. Dragon Predator varies huge based on your cube. What's the word?
Dynamic.
Sure.
Makeup.
Cube makeup, I think is a better term. And else after that, it's pretty spaghetti, and I'm not super excited about any of the cards. So, Prime Speakers is like an interesting enough card, but it might just be another. What's the word? Rashmi. Remember Rashmi from Aether Revolt or Kaladesh? It's like the first spell you cast every turn, you can like look at the top X cards equal to CMC or something. It's like, and that card is also interesting and the kind of reason to play Simic. And I hope that this card isn't that, but it might.
I played like a 2/4 Biomancer guy. I think you gave +2.
Oh yeah, the
+1/+1 counters.
Yeah, whenever you play a guy, you get to like.
That was okay.
Yeah. But Simic is like again populated as well. It's kind of like Rakdos with a bunch of these like Bizarro blue-green cards that I said Bizarro a lot in this episode. that have interesting mechanics like Prophet of Crucifix, Rashmi, this thing, Master Biomancer. A lot of those kind of weird cards that are like interesting enough, but they don't end up just being powerful enough to warrant their spot. And then you end up just playing like Coiling Oracle because it's a fine card. It's just a cantripping idiot. So Prime Speaker Vanifer I think is in the same realm, but I guess it'll come down to like ultimately is this effect fun enough that it'll kind of just people will keep playing it? Is it because it's a powerful effect, but it's slow. Like it's hard. It's way easier to interact with.
It does have 4 toughness.
It does have 4 toughness, so
could use 3 power.
I'm gonna play Prime Speaker Vanifer. I'm not Vanifar. I feel like I'm messing that up. I'm not super jazzed about it, but
I'm not super jazzed about the impending foil price.
Yeah, so Commander players love this card. Intruder Alarm, like, spiked immediately. What a surprise.
Every time one of these cards comes out, Intruder Alarm spikes.
Yeah. This has to be one of the most popular commanders that's come out in the last little bit.
This is Simic's last hurrah for me. If the cards don't... I'm not replacing them. If they don't make it, I'm just cutting the Simic slot and just putting in a different card.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks fun to try. Give it a spin. But I'm not gonna hold my breath, unfortunately. Speaking of artwork, we're kind of going back to the Simic reference. This is another again, art is fine, but Rick's Mahdi Reveler is very realistic. Again, which doesn't really fit in. But anyway, Rick's Mahdi Reveler, 1 in a red, 2/2 human shaman, not a zombie. Spectacle, 2 black-red. When it enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. If you cast it for its spectacle cost, instead discard your hand and draw 3 cards. It's 2 mana, 2/2.
And the spectacle cost is 2 and...
No, I said that. I said that.
Okay.
So 2 mana, 2/2 that lets it loot a card is not very good. It's extremely medium.
I think it's passable.
Drew thinks it's passable. Drew plays, was it 2 mana, 2/1 that shocks your opponent?
Yeah.
That card's I don't even like that card. And Drew plays that card. So Drew has a little more space. I don't have as much space. He's at 540. I'm at 450. I'm not looking at Rick's Mahdi Reveler at the moment. I'm not sure. You can install this card as a red card that has his upside. I definitely don't like it as a Rakdos card.
Oh, it's not a Rakdos card.
I don't really know if I like this card at all. Without the Rakdos ability, I'm not looking at this card. So I think I'd have to class it as a Rakdos card. But it's an interesting constructed card.
Buffs Grazier synergies.
Yeah. It has random synergy stuff. Like it's neat. You get back Gutter Bones. Or discard and then get back Gutter Bones. So yeah, I don't know how to feel with this card. It's a very Drew card.
Moving on.
Yeah. Seraph of the Scales. The black-white mythic, I don't know, we didn't really want. 2 white, black, angel, 4/3 flying. Pay a white, it gains vigilance till end of turn. Pay a black, it gains death touch till end of turn. Afterlife 2. So it's a 4 mana, 4/3 flying, Afterlife 2 with almost the relevant text.
Well, Afterlife 2 is the best part of this card.
Afterlife 2 is a not bad part of this card. It is an X3. Dies with a lot of things. Orzhov has a lot of playable cards. So unfortunately this card might be a little bit of a miss.
Like, the weaker cards that I run are Tidal Sculler and Umbrella Rights in Orzhov, but those play a role.
Yeah.
And this doesn't play that role.
I think the best thing about Seraph of the Scale is that it's a 4-drop in a color that has difficult to find 4-drops.
There are a lot of black 4-drops that are medium, but the white...
White has a little more. They have, like, Hero Blade Hold. But, a lot of the white 4-drops also suffer from the problem this card has of having 3 toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Gisela, Sublime Archangel, they just kind of get shot out of the sky, which feels really, really bad. So this at least has some staying power. It fits into... I was going to say token decks, but that's really stupid. It's a very fine mid-range card. I'm sure if you ever play this card, it's going to be fine. You might give it vigilance every now and then. This card looks fine. It is good. I am not excited to try it. I don't think I'm going to try it.
Hey, you put it on the list. You're going to try it.
I'm not going to try it.
You're going to try it.
I don't try every card on the list, true. But, yeah, was it Vindicates, Sorin, Lingering Souls, Burial Rite, Saddle Sculler? I think I played the same 5.
Yeah. I play Solemn Visitor?
Yeah, I play Solemn Visitor, too. I'm not mad. Like, yeah, this card's fine. I'm sure people will play it. It'll perform well. It's not a bad card by any means. Kind of cool. Like the art. Same guy who drew Chandra Torture Defiance, I believe. It was on our window, which you can't see. It's okay, though. That brings us to Tithe Taker. This card's going in. This card's great. 1 and a white, 2/1. Human soldier, not a zombie. During your turn, spells your opponent control. Spells your control. That's incorrect. During your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. Afterlife 1.
You know, it's been a long time. Many, many, many years. But I think Ronan Unicorn. I love that art. I love its unicorn. There's a lot of pink in it. It's great. I think it's finally getting cut.
Yeah, this card's fine.
Yeah.
This card's just good. It's the budget Thalia. Thalia is fantastic. This one's fantastic. Afterlife's sweet. Fits into the White Weedy deck. It's everything you want it to do. Randomly even taxes their activated abilities for some reason. It's awesome. Not too far long ago.
Far long ago.
Drew was in the world of playing multiple what's his name?
Mistral Chargers,
Stormfront Pegasus, Ronan Unicorns. You know, White 2s could use a little bit of help, and Tithe Taker is just another one that's been fantastic. I know we got Remorseful Cleric, Selfless Spirit, this card. This card isn't quite Selfless Spirit good, but, you know, it's still great. Big fan. This one's pretty easy, I think. So, that's all we're going to talk about today. It's we just talked about cards that were on the official Wizards of the Coast spoiler. So there's a handful of cards we didn't talk about that were even on that list, like Dovin, Kaya. We didn't talk about the Mythic Dragon. We didn't talk about the Demon. Those are all coming in a full review. This has been our, I want to say, initial impressions, because it's only about, I think, 10 cards and the mechanics, stuff like that. So, we'll probably be recording in a week or two, and we'll have the full episode sometime after a week or two. Other than that, I want to thank the man base again, because I'm a good employee.
Sometimes.
Make sure to check them out for all things Magic the Gathering, except for Vintage, because no one plays Vintage. That's okay. That's the cube, I guess. The end.